Today I'm going to talk about why bodybuilders are fat and why bulking and cutting is such a silly idea. I was watching this clip where an African tribesman was telling an American fitness influencer, bodybuilder, that he was fat.
You're fat.
I'm fat.
Yeah, it is. You're very fat.
And the bodybuilder was milking it for all it was worth, saying, "No, look, I got big muscles." To which the African tribesman was replying, "Well, you know, you're fat." And then he would be told that, "Look, I got a six-pack, so I'm not fat." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a six-pack, yes, you're not fat, but you're fat." And then and then he was told that if you're gonna get any bigger, you're gonna be unable to walk. And obviously it is funny, but you also think about what on earth is going on and what does he mean. And I think since they both communicated in English, which is only the native tongue of one of these gentlemen, then there is a room for interpretation there. And I think what might be happening is that when the tribesman says you're fat, he means something like excess. You know, it's too much. It's too much for the job that I would imagine you would have to be doing if you were heading animals or hunting or gathering. The big muscles are actually not an asset in such circumstances, but a liability. All right. Hi, my name is Pavel, for those who are not regular viewers of this channel. I'm an anthropologist who's cracked fitness. If you're interested, you can check out my website, sendyka40.com. And I'm recording these daily brainwash videos to persuade you to do your own exercise while you're listening to them. So it can be isometrics like planks or horse stands, or if you remember the moves, radio taiso, and anything else you can think of to do for a few minutes, so you're not just a passive consumer of YouTube and of fitness videos, but you're doing something for yourself. Because doing something for a few minutes a day, actually 10 to 15, that's all you need to do to get and stay fit. All right, let's go back to our subject of fatness in bodybuilders. And I'm here with the African tribesmen that I think what those bodybuilders are doing is obviously excessive. You don't need all those muscles for your daily life or any kind of physical job, anecdotally. And I would tend to agree that you would not need big muscles and being a bodybuilder to do a job of, say, a construction worker. And construction workers are anecdotally stronger. They're cutting down trees and stuff here over the road. So they are stronger than bodybuilders. And probably if you think of the military setting, they need muscles, but they don't need the kind of muscles that the bodybuilders are aimed for. And what the African tribesman said about, if you're gonna get any bigger, you're gonna not be able to walk, well, I think there is a lot of truth in that in bodybuilders. If you look at how they walk sometimes, you can't imagine them sprinting. So that is what is happening. And this question of what do you need those muscles for is the question of fit enough. You know, the question I always try to ask is, you want to be fit for what? Fit to run a marathon? Fit to enough to live your life well and be able to lift your kids and grandkids and be well enough to live long enough to see them graduate? Or you're chasing some silly metric, like, I don't know, how much you bench press, or I don't know what other silly metrics are there, but there are a lot of them. Yeah, grip strength. We gotta talk sometimes about all the silly metrics that are out there, that they say to you, well, you're gonna improve grip strength and you're gonna live forever. Well, it doesn't work that way. These are all proxies for general fitness, I think. Anyhow, back to our topic at hand. So I know I get criticized a lot for not being big enough, being scrawny. But like I always say, historically, we are at a point where the male physique has been so inflated by the Arnold Schwarzenegger era that it's really unnatural, and it's really funny to be going for these sort of ideals, which most of us could only probably achieve with steroids and other PEDs. So now my physique is good enough. You know what I mean? It's last weekend it was good enough to rescue someone from the sea. When I saw someone getting in trouble, I looked around for a flotation device. I sprinted along the beach to a guy with a surfboard, got the surfboard, got him out on the surfboard. I got out there as well, and we got him back in safely. I mean, the funny thing is, he was on a bodyboard, so I thought maybe he knows what he's doing as I was looking at what's happening, but clearly it seemed that he was not in control, and then his friend told us that he didn't know how to swim. Now, people, right? What are they doing? Anyway, now, bulking and cutting. Tell me, when in history did we train athletes that way? Well, the procedure was train and then stuff yourself silly, overeat, so you get bigger in all sorts of ways. So the theory is you provide lots of nutrients for your muscle to grow, and then cut away the fat by fasting. Now, if you think about it, it's just really crazy. I think it's crazy. Why do people think it's normal? Why not just go for muscles to begin with? And yeah, I just don't get it. And I don't think it's good for your health to overeat and then to fast. I don't know what it is doing to people's relationship with food. Now, and then there is the coffee-stained caveat to all of this, which is another thing I saw on the internet. So there is not an anthropologist like me, totally unqualified to talk about fitness. There is Dr. Mike Israetel, who's a fitness and exercise physiologist, and he's got his YouTube channel, and he's a bodybuilder, and he's been bulking and cutting for years. And then what it got him were the unburnable fat love handles, which he eventually decided to get an operation for, a plastic surgery. And that's a kind of a messy thing to do, apparently, because a lot of bleeding. I don't know, he posted the pictures of things on his socials, and I saw them and I cannot unsee them, so I'm not going to be finding them for you. The point is, after the operation he couldn't properly do anything, and by anything I mean like even wiping himself and pooping, and on his social, he checked himself into a hotel so he wouldn't have to be cleaning up his old messes. It was up to the maids to change his coffee-colored bedsheets, which for some reason he also took photos of and posted. So I think, the real victims of bulking and cutting are the maids, the hotel maids. But as we know from that study, I have quoted in one of my videos, I think in season 1, was that the hotel maids, as long as they told that all that they're doing, all the movement they're doing throughout the day is exercise and counts as exercise, they get the health benefits. And if they're not, then they don't. So I want to say that if you're gonna do like what the Sendyka method proposes, 10 to 15 minutes a day, then you are going to get the benefits. These aren't the droids that you're looking for. Right. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.